This is the Evan Ginzburg Show with Mr. Big in studio, looking very debonair. He's got the suit, the hat, and the "fuck you, you fucking fuck" shirt.
I guess we can curse on this show.
I guess we can curse on this show.
So, because
Yes.
there's not one of us that curbs our language.
There you go. So, Mr. Big, Frank Goodman's coming back to New York. Tell us about that.
First topic. You know how many times I put the notification that the show is going to be on this morning, and I put on, I updated it each time, just to say when it's going to be on again, how soon. Each time I put it up, he takes it off. And the schmuck don't know, and I call him a schmuck. You're a schmuck, Frank, because I promote your show more than anybody else, at least more than any one individual, anyway. Right? I put it out every place, get 10,000 people seeing that it's going to. They could be from Bangkok.
Yeah.
But they still see it. Okay, and you know what? People are going to come to see the show. They're looking forward to it. That's what it's about. It's it's going to be a good show. Grim Reaper's going to be on the show.
That's right, and he's going to be on this show later on.
That's right. But there's an air of expectancy that this should be a great show. And you know what? It will be. It will not disappoint. Because on September 15th, in Long Island, a little humble place for NYWC, that's their regular stomping grounds. Hey, listen, I've been there too, so I like the place. And as I said before, if they move the ring into the middle of the room, leaving equidistant seating around there, and just make the entranceway longer, they can still film the way they film, it would be perfect. They wouldn't be losing their concession area, and they would have people mixing around a lot more, and they get more people into the arena and staying in there. They could film from all sides. But that's another story. It's a great place. It really is. They light it nice. It's all black. So
feels like an old school wrestling arena.
It's nice. It's
like Sunnyside Garden.
Or to me, it reminds me of Mid-South, Memphis wrestling. Or the stuff they did in the studio where they had like 80 people in the studio and they had plaster wall, but they didn't paint it black. But that's what it reminds me of. Those old studio shows where the guys really worked out in the ring.
Yeah.
But yet there you got the sound and everything else. So it's a nice place to work.
So after all this time, what motivated Frank to come back to New York? He's kind of a legendary promoter here for those who don't know.
He always had the bug to do it, and he just needed a couple of people like near him to sort of push the bug a little bit here and there. Nobody could claim credit for it but him. He did it in Florida. He didn't seem like he was having the greatest time in Florida, at least to me.
Florida's like God's waiting room.
Yeah, and where he is, listen, he built up a crowd. It's amazing. He do 350 or 450 in Orlando. That's amazing. It really is for an independent show. So he built it up. I guess what he could build it up, at the Armory. But he wanted to do something in New York. He had a taste. He was seeing that other people are doing, and you know what? Truthfully, with my help, he got a lot of tickets sold.
There you go.
Listen, you could call me an old ticket seller, but I don't stand there and peddle. You got a ticket? Give me $20. Take it $20. I'm not like that. I delegate the
Hit
other guys.
Hit that door with your hand. We're getting some background noise.
Let's get rid of the background noise. There we go. Slam that door on that.
There you go.
So I already, I got to tell you something. There's hundreds of tickets sold to the show. I can tell you.
Wow.
Hundreds of tickets. The front row has got to be, if it's not gone, there's two or three sick.
And most of the fans are from Bangkok. That's going to be the interesting part.
Well.
Yes. Yeah. Because you're all over the internet.
I am. It's true. But you know what? I don't buy likes. I don't promote it that way. I don't do it. I'll put it out to 75 to 100 different wrestling groups so that those guys who are interested in talking about something, they can look at my page. So, I don't have 1,000 likes yet, but they're legitimate likes. Okay?
See, I'm glad you're talking about this because I'm in the middle of promoting 350 Days, the movie.
Oh, really? Really? No, I didn't see one advertisement
That's
every
right.
5 minutes on the freaking Facebook.
That's what people don't grasp. The old school promotion, like you do, like I do. I was outside Madison Square Garden last night. I gave out thousands of flyers.
That was you.
Yeah. I'm 107 years old. I'm outside the garden at 11 o'clock at night giving out flyers. People don't get this anymore. They have a pretty website and they're preaching to the converted, and the same 37 fans come to their indie shows.
Listen, you can't promote to your fans because they're your fans already.
Right.
Here's something that you do in business. You're at a bar. Same thing. It's entertaining guys. They're getting silly, whatever. Different venue. You're at a bar. Who do you take care of? The guy who's peeking in the bar? The guy who's walking in now? Or the guy who's sitting there drinking already? Schmuck. The guy's drinking already. Relax.
Exactly.
I will be with you in a minute, buddy. And you go, come in here.
Yeah,
What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need? Come on. We're welcome. What do you need? So you bring in your new fans. I have, in the past couple of weeks, gotten a lot of new fans. How do I know they're fans? Why? Because first they request me as friend, and then they go to the page, and they like the page. So it's legitimate. You understand? They're seeing what I put out from other pages. They're liking it. They find it funny. Like you put out your thing every 5 minutes. There's something coming out.
Every 3 minutes.
Check it out.
Yes.
Check it out. It's like the guy on 42nd
That's
Street
right.
slapping the tickets together. I'm not retarded. I'm just saying. Slapping it out. You're doing that. You're giving out flyers on the corner. That's what you're doing.
1,000 of them last night.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
When I put out a show, humble, I didn't do that much. But my first show, with no help, doing it by myself, I did over 350. And the second show, the same thing.
I've been to indie shows where there's three. 450, not 350.
If there was 35 or 350, the guys would have performed the same. But it was legit 350 in the audience.
I was once at a wrestling show. I brought down Nikolai Volkov and Johnny Valiant. There was one paid customer. One, okay?
I watched Nikolai Volkov wrestle in a place where they wrestled on mats that were just on the floor, like kind of like Olympic wrestling, except these were just
I saw that
square
video.
mats. Oh my God, it was terrible.
So the first thing the old school guys say when they roll into town is they go, "Where are the posters for this show? How come nobody knows about this show?" Because the idiot promoter, put it on their website, and basically that's it.
Well, pal, you hit the nail right on the head. Just like I bang my head on that guitar every single time.
Usually, when there's wrestlers in the room and a guitar, it doesn't end well. But
that's all right. I respect it because I'm a musician too. I'm not a guitarist, so I kind of respect the guy who plays the guitar. And a lot of my friends are guitarists.
I just saw Steve Miller the other night. That guy's some musician.
The guy is great, but he's a great songwriter, is what he is, and he's a good singer, and he put together a great band. Yeah. That's what it is. You put together great material, you have great product, and you promote it. You don't think he sits in his basement and puts it out on Facebook. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that know who Steve Miller is because he started 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? And he's maintained his popularity since. And there's a lot of people that weren't born, even close to when he was popular.
I saw Steve Miller in the 70s at Giant Stadium. That's how big this guy was, yeah.
Steve Miller was, I like Steve Miller Band. That was one of my favorites. And I was in the Navy. When I was in the Navy, and they came out with, what the hell song was it? Sure Like Your Peaches Want to Take You. You know the song. Oh, I'm a Joker.
The Joker, yeah.
The Joker. Well, that song came out. It was on the radio every 5 minutes. That's what we listened to. We were but when the boat was, in dry dock, we were on the base in San Diego. So those will bring back some good memories. But back to wrestling. In September, it's going to be a good show. You always stop the plug in the middle.
Yeah.
350 Days is going to be a great movie.
Thank you. This Thursday.
It's about wrestling, and it's really about wrestling. That's really what it is. And if you want to know about it, you want to have some inside story, and you want to have some insight, real insight, I suggest you go see it. I'm going to go see it. I know I'm going to bring friends with me to go see it. And I'm not a mark. I'm a wrestler, and I'm a wrestling manager and a wrestling personality. But I learn all the time, and it's interesting and it's entertaining. So I suggest that people go see it to be entertained. I mean, they'll get educated. You're always a teacher, so we know they're going to get educated, but they're going to be entertained like crazy. And I'll tell you, if you don't know who those guys are, it don't matter. Just imagine for a second. Go back to those years when those guys were beating the crap out of each other and throwing big spuds, talking about Idaho potatoes at each other. Because when Mick Foley said, "What is Terry Funk's punch feels so real.
Yeah.
Because it is. Guys got hit with haymakers by Stan Stasiak and, Bill Stan
Dundee.
Hansen and Bill Dundee. I mean, guys got stiffed if they didn't do right, okay? And guys worked, and guys, listen, they were strong and tough, and they weren't millennials crying, I need a safe space. Yes. I'm not working. I'm not over tonight. I mean, come on. Yeah. That's why the movie is going to be a big hit. Once people see it, then you'll first get an audience.
If you love The Wrestler, you'll love 350 Days. And it's fathomevents.com/350 days, 400 theaters nationwide. But getting back to your big event, September 15th.
Yeah, that's the next big thing I'll be in. Anything before that is nice. Truthfully, that's how I feel. And I don't even know what my schedule is with ECPW. I care because I like those guys. I like working with the Meadowlands monster, Lou Bruno, when I get the opportunity. Big son of a bitch, I tell you. Legit, 7 foot tall, 315 pounds.
Wow.
He calls himself a triathlete, but he's not counting wrestling. I guess maybe because he didn't do collegiate wrestling or high school wrestling, but he knows how to wrestle. So I call him a fourth sport athlete.
Wow. Okay,
first slip of the tongue of the day. Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
Took that long. And I promote him. I push him. I don't mean I promote him. I'm not selling him,
All right, since you say that, and this, I don't know the gentleman whatsoever. Why is it that so many wrestlers, they're busy talking about Raw, SmackDown, New Japan? Why don't they promote themselves?
You see, here's a guy who does. If I made a page for him. He's a young guy. He's a little older than I thought he was initially. But I realized he's new in the business, so he appears younger. Like me, I appeared like I was 20 years younger when I first got in this business. People didn't know how old I was when I took my first bump. Okay? They don't, and they still don't know how old I am, and who gives a shit if they do or they don't. Okay? I'm not a young kid. Okay? But this guy, he's a hard-working young man. Okay? Can wrestle. Okay? But he promotes himself. I made a page. See, he didn't know, so I made a page of the Meadowlands Monster. And then I immediately messaged him and said, listen, I made you a page. You want me to transfer it over so you're the administrator? He left me on as an administrator. Well, I don't know why.
See, what this guy should do is have all those like old school Andre the Giant type photos where he's standing next to like a luchador who's 3'7" and
Evan, there's pictures on there. That's why I'm telling you this. See, I'm glad you're helping me to get to that point because I don't know how to talk.
Yeah.
All right. I can't make myself, understood.
That's right.
I have difficulty in expressing myself.
That's right.
What I'm saying, Evan? Okay, this young man has put out a lot of good photos, but they're real. They're not staged photos like when he took Ryan Roxbury, who's to me like a lawn dart. He's got a lot of balls. He works with Ben Benedetto, who's he's like an action figure, okay? But this young man could wrestle, but Bruno took him up and held him up like he was holding a broomstick or and just threw him. Yeah. Okay? Not into a pole. By the way, if any people watching things on Facebook, they got now 2 videos, short videos of this fat fuck throwing a guy out of the ring into a pole, into a corner post that's supporting the roof of the building.
Yeah, Lou Thez taught him how to do that.
That thing don't move, okay? It don't move. And he was backwards, and he was flying backwards, launched. Okay, that's not a move. Okay, you know who doesn't move? The guy sitting on my right, who's sitting right across from you, the Grim Reaper, one of my favorite fucking flyers in the world.
Can we add him to the conversation, Jim?
Why not?
There you go.
Get him in. Get that couple.
Put the iced tea away, meanwhile. Yeah, okay.
Away, man. Get presentable. He don't care. You know why? Because this guy, when he gets in the ring, don't have to say a word. I got footage of him working for me. He don't remember. Airborne like nobody's business. Okay?
Let me just say something quickly. As an old school jaded fan who's seen everybody, I've been going to wrestling since '74. My first match that I saw was Nikolai and Blassie against Bruno and Strongbow. So that shows how old I am. 3 out of 4 of them are dead. I am jaded, and I am telling the folks out there that Grim Reaper is one of the underrated, tremendous wrestlers, and I have a lot of respect for him, and I'm glad you finally got down to the studio.
Definitely.
And I know you since the Doghouse days, Bobby Lombardi, and R.I.P. Bobby Lombardi. Yeah. So, how did Bobby influence you?
Well, the Doghouse just happened to fall right into my neighborhood, or else probably I would have never even became around. I always loved wrestling, and I was watching it for what it was, for what I thought it was, for a while. You know what I mean? So, the original Doghouse was in Ozone Park. My friend just told me, shot over there. First one I met is Bobby and Layton. First thing they ask is, you think you could do this, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, we were doing push-ups, getting whipped with fucking sticks.
Wow.
I mean, you run the ropes 10,000 times.
But I'll tell you, the Doghouse, if you weren't tough, you weren't making it, period. There was so many guys weeded out, which was actually money getting thrown out of the door.
Yeah.
But in the long run, whoever was left over was ready for any independence or any ring in the world. Just think about it. Doghouse was open like 2 years. Think about how much talent came out of that in that short span.
Low Key, Homicide, Monster
and
Max,
all of their students. See, you got to remember something.
Yeah.
It's exponential.
Yeah.
That's a big word, right? It's exponential, which means it branched out. Homicide, how many guys? Homicide taught me. Homicide's a lot my junior. Homicide taught him. Okay, he's a lot my junior.
And now you're teaching.
Okay, it's just that's how it goes. One guy spreads out, and I'm only telling you. I don't have to tell you all the names of the students, but if you went and did a study, the chart would be amazing to you. It would be fractal geometry you'd need for it. Okay, all these big words today, huh?
There you go. I'm
it's a good
impressed.
son, bro.
It's like an education for me. I'm
learning
and just
I
sitting
know
here.
my shit, okay? That's why I'm the manager of champions and the champion of managers. I manage this.
Yes.
I was this guy's first manager. And you can say what you will, oh, it's a gimmick, a judge, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. I got this motherfucker over so big in his very first match because we did a promo. You know what our promo was?
Hit us.
We came out of it. It was very simple. I'll give you the visual picture. We were in a room. We were commiserating before the match. And we didn't know the cameras are right outside the door. We open up the door and a billow of smoke comes out of the fucking room. I'm talking about a billow of smoke. And this is in the original Elks Lodge. Not supposed to smoke. We were in the back. And a billow of smoke. And they film it. The door opening. The billow of smoke. We just look at each other. We started laughing. And we walked away because we knew what the hell we were going to say.
Yeah.
I don't know where that film is. They may not have. But I know that
I don't remember that, to be honest.
But I remember stuff like that. I don't remember a guy's 40-second bump in the third match.
I'm just saying, I'm sure it's true.
That was the first thing that they ever filmed, you know. And again, Mosca filmed the promo for me in the staircase. My very first show. Don't know where it is. I laid out the 3 rules of Mr. Big, which I'm not going to do today.
Let me hear it. Come on.
Because I ain't.
What's the 3 rules?
Nah,
Come on.
The first rule is. No, we won't do that. We're not going to do that.
Whatever.
I've got no promos today.
So tell us about your students. Tell us where you're teaching and.
Oh, right now we rent out the House of Glory School Monday and Wednesdays. We're about to relocate, but we've been there for about 4 years now. Tons of students, wrestling students. You're gonna get a lot of revolving doors. Guys that I thought had the best potential. Just then you gotta love it, and you got to be able to take pain. So it's a revolving door. If I get 100 students and 15 of them make it, that's probably the truthful average of.
And from your experience, why do most of them quit?
Well, a lot of people for different reasons. A lot of people I've seen had so much potential, but they just didn't have the love for it, or they were a head case, didn't have the confidence. Some guys were great in practice, and then when it's showtime, they turn to shit.
Yeah.
It's just. You got to have a lot of secret ingredients from different aspects to do this. You got to love it. You got to want to have the pressure on you. You got to be able to perform, and you got to storytell.
I think that's with anything. There's some really funny people that can't get on a stage and do stand up. They're
funny amongst
like
their
a deer
friends.
in the headlights.
Yeah, when people are funny amongst their friends, it's different than when they're funny in a big group. You know, you go into a bar.
But standing on a stage when lights are on you, it's a whole different ball.
Now you know who the real funny person in the crowd is. Not the guy who's making the 6 people he's with laugh. The guy who has to say something across the bar and he makes fun, says whatever, and everybody in the bar breaks up.
Yeah.
That's the guy I'll pay to see.
Yeah.
All right, the little guy, that guy, he's funny to his friends because he's funny to his friends. I don't worry about that. They entertain my small group of friends. They'll laugh at anything I say because I'm the smartest one of them. So I'll come up with something cute to say. Okay? But I'll tell you something. You got to be tough in wrestling. It's not just physicality. See, some of these guys, and Reefer knows, some of these guys can physically, they could do stuff. You go, wow, that's where I see the potential. Right? I could do a flip. I could do this. Guy's got gas. He could go for 20 minutes. Okay? Really go. All right, that's good. But he don't have the other stuff in him. He don't have the pathos that he could draw upon. He don't have personal drama that he could put into as a heel. You think, I'm the real guy. Really, I get my shit out when I work. Okay? Because you got to be real. You got to take yourself and make yourself bigger than life.
Also, as a fan, it's very rare you find that total package where you go, the guy has the ability, the guy has the look, the guy has the size, the guy has the charisma. You can't create charisma.
No, you can't teach. You can polish charisma, but you can't teach charisma.
I see guys that know every move in the book, and they look like some kids sitting on the subway. You know, you can't teach charisma.
There were certain guys though that they were so good physically, and they couldn't. And we know a few of them in the Indies that worked in USA Pro that were cream of the crop physically, but couldn't talk. Not really. Okay, Kid Cruel, one of my favorite wrestlers.
Was actually my first opponent.
And I love him, and I love his father. I really do. I wish his father would have adopted me. You know.
Where is Kid Cruel?
Well, these guys were great, but he wasn't the greatest on the mic. You know, on occasion, there were certain things, there were situations where they put him in with nightlife that the story lent to him being funny. Just like to me, I didn't think X-Pac was funny, but he was funny when he was doing certain things with DX. But Mike could wrestle. Right? I mean, without question. And was a physical specimen. At the time, I wasn't experienced enough or didn't have maybe the seichel to
Translate that for our
I didn't
listeners.
have really the smarts to inveigle myself in with Frank and say, let me manage this guy. Let me talk for him once. Let me actually talk for somebody like the Grand Wizard talking for somebody, or Freddie Blassie, or any of them where the guy couldn't talk. So they took the manager and he said, put the words in the manager, let the manager tell you who this guy is.
I have a tough question for you guys. This just popped into my head. I love Bobby Lombardi, and I know you guys did, and we even paid tribute to him twice on my shows. And, you know, he took a lot of kids off the street. He did a lot for a lot of people. He started a lot of people. What is Frank Goodman's legacy in this business?
I'll let you answer that one.
And be honest.
No, I'm going to because I'm
going to be honest.
No, because I'm going to be honest, but I'm going to say it in a way that's not combative, okay, or negative. Frank has done a similar thing with different intentions, perhaps. His intention was never to teach guys how to wrestle. His intention was to make money as a promoter.
Which is most promoters.
Which is what all promoters are supposed to do. That's what a promoter does. You look up the definition, that's what it does. Just like if you look up the definition of a sponge, it's to soak up liquids. Okay? Promoter, to soak up money. Same thing. Okay? Different material to soak up. But he didn't do it with any venom or bad intentions. He didn't take a guy's money and go, I'm going to put him in a situation where it's going to hurt him. Nope. He made sure that he got some kind of verification that they had some kind of training. If they were good, bad, or indifferent, that did not matter. They sold tickets to the show. They're entitled to have an audience. He provided them with a venue. He provided them with a ring. He provided them with a bell, a sound system, and an opponent, or maybe they provided the opponent,
but it didn't. Showcase.
I just said it, and people to watch them besides the 10 to 20 people that they brought in themselves individually. That ain't bad. Okay. They want to be a wrestler. What does that take? It takes having a fucking audience.
Okay.
Because if you're a wrestler in your house, you know what you're doing? You're masturbating. Mentally or otherwise, you're masturbating. If you're wrestling with a guy in the backyard, that's fun, and that's when you're 8 and 9, you do that. Okay, you wrestle in the backyard, okay, with your friend. But if you want to be a wrestler, you get trained, you buy some real gear, or you make some real gear, like a guy like Jack Lord makes gear for guys. You can't buy it, get a sewing machine, make your gear. But have real
him on
gear.
Hawaii 5-0, by the way.
What's that?
I enjoyed him on Hawaii 5-0.
That was different Jack Lord.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Now, Jack Lord, if you're listening, good morning. Look, the whole point is, you know how I feel. Guys got to be trained. Guys got to real gear. The gimmick will follow. The psychology will follow. We'll figure something out. If you got guys like me working the show, I'll help you. We'll figure something out. But the idea is you gotta know what you're doing beforehand. You go get trained by the Grim Reaper, you're gonna know what you're doing.
So what I'm getting out of this is you feel with Frank Goodman it was mutually beneficial.
It was, yeah. I know I cut that short. I cut it short on purpose because I can go on and on. Frank has done me a lot of good turns. We won't call them favors because I did him favors, but he's done me good turns. He's been right by me, okay? And I could put myself in even better situations now that I'm savvy, okay? And that's what I've done, okay? Creators. Matter of fact, look, I'm going to say it out loud to everybody. Jack Swagger, you know why he's on Frank's show? Because on his USA Pro Wrestling page, I put just a simple post. 2 pictures of Jack Swagger that I took in street clothes. Because I had been talking to the guy one day. I said, so you're working, Jack? He goes, yeah. I said, good. You're available? Yeah. I said, are you expensive? He goes, no. Good. May have something for you. I'll let you know. I put a post out on his Facebook thing that said, this guy is in great shape and ready for work. That's all I had to do. The inquiries went out. Boom. Look at all Frank's posters. Jack Swagger's on all of them. Oh, yeah. Why? Because he's working. He's reasonable. He's working, and that don't lend credibility to a locker room. Nothing does. Manny Fernandez, okay, Cowboy James Storm, Homicide, okay. You look at the poster. There's a lot of guys on there. Crowbar. How about Crowbar?
These are all legit guys.
These are. He has produced guys through his company by giving them an opportunity, whether it's through selling tickets or paying them $12 or paying them nothing and just giving them a chance to work the show with a decent match. They got incredible popularity, incredible, we won't say fame, but they definitely were known. People knew who they were. And some of them gone on to much bigger and better things.
And Grim, what do you think?
On Frank Goodman?
Yeah.
Well, first time I met Frank Goodman was me and Bobby in the audience, and Bobby trying to put me over to him, which I was grateful for. So once I got on, I wasn't in the greatest of matches. I was in the gauntlets, but that's what set my career off. Those couple of gauntlets, being able to show my stuff off and make the average guy look better than what he was, all of a sudden, boom. It was like domino effect. One USA Pro show in the Elks Lodge, which Goodman gave me the platform to get on, and that's all it took.
So that's great.
So I always knew, if I could get in this ring, that's all it takes. Just get me to the ring. That's all I need.
And as a fan, I went to many of his shows. I live a mile from the Elks Lodge, and I saw some great matches. And I also saw like steel cages being set up at 12:15 at night, where you were too numb to enjoy it.
But you were still there.
But I was still there.
And you know what? You're talking about it, and you enjoyed it. So shut up about that.
I couldn't tell you who were wrestling in those matches because you were too numb.
Old joke.
5 hours into it, but
old joke. Raven coming into Amazura, and we had on the back door, one of the doors between the rooms, was the card. Everybody else's card, one sheet of paper. You got tape on the top and bottom. No, with Frank, you could only put tape on the top because you had to flip pages. So Raven flips to the second page and something goes, so I'm on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Match 17.
It only feels like a 4-hour show.
No, this was literally after midnight.
I'm saying it all, but it only feels like a 4-hour show to that little kid who really just too tired to take it anymore. But I gotta tell you, those shows, the place was not empty at the end of the show.
Yeah.
The place was still packed.
You're not going to
Elks
leave
Lodge,
before the steel cage main event.
and never mind the steel cage. How about any of those matches
Yeah.
where you bring
No,
on?
I saw some great matches there. I mean, look. As a journalist, you're supposed to give two sides. I'm being honest, you know.
Look, there was some poor matches. I did one of the worst I was in one of the worst matches ever recorded on film.
Oh, which one was that?
Okay, that was a battle royal. Now, if Matt Kaufman, doing the Midnight Rider routine, it doesn't make that the worst match ever. You know who Matt was?
No.
You don't remember Matt? Oh boy.
Matt who?
He was the lawyer. He was the lawyer, the wannabe wrestler, lawyer. He dressed one night in dungaree suit from head to toe.
If he's a lawyer, don't say anything libelous or slanderous.
You talking about Matt with the dungarees?
Yes, Matt with the dungarees. If that don't make it the worst match, then put Mr. Big in it as a wrestler.
You know what I enjoyed? I enjoyed when lowlife Louis Ramos wrestled Abdullah the Butcher, and he was wearing an Abdullah the Butcher T-shirt.
I like that.
That was perfect.
Let me tell you something. Louis could go. Louis
is
just
awesome.
like the Grim Reaper. Okay.
Louis got more charisma than 99% of the
These guys
wrestlers
are
out
TV
there.
guys. You understand? These guys are TV guys. Okay, that just haven't made it to TV.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Louis
This
has
guy
off the charts
sitting here
charisma.
can work.
That's right.
Can work, and Louis can work. Louis was always relegated, in my opinion. Relegated. We know what that means. Not delegated, but relegated.
Relegated, right.
To a position of cult popularity. Given the right circumstances, he could have gone past that, past Golga and the oddities. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
You see, Louis got labeled as a hardcore wrestler. Homicide was really smart, and he got away from it. And Homicide's had a great
Homicide would
career.
have been a mini New Jack.
Yeah, Homicide got away from it. He's had a tremendous.
Homicide was a great technical.
Oh yeah.
And beat the crap. Hey,
But early on, he had that stereotype, you know, hardcore. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He was hardcore from the beginning. Frank Goodman was afraid of him, and probably still is. Be careful what you say to him. He's a real gangster. And I'm telling you, he wasn't just telling me to scare me. He was telling me because he was scared. This was Frank telling me that to introduce me to Homicide. I met Homicide and made friends with him, and he was one of my primary trainers.
Homicide's awesome.
And beat the crap out of me. Not physically beat the crap out of me, because that wasn't the point of it. I'm an older guy. He had a lot of respect, but I said, listen, work me out like everybody else. I ain't no pussy. And he did. Ran the ropes, had to be 1,000 times. Okay, back bumps and front bumps. What kind of normal person standing in the middle of the ring, or standing in the middle of any floor, just throws their feet out front and lands on their back? It can't be normal to do that.
It's not a normal thing.
And then you stand up again and do it again the other way. Had me doing that, 100 times. Okay, side bumps, front, but this. The only one that did me wrong, my old departed friend Balls, had me doing flip bumps. At my age, I shouldn't have been doing flip bumps at all.
Grim, tell some career highlights.
Where do I start? Top of the list got to be doing a Piper's Pit. It was a great.
Really?
movie.
Wow.
There was this kid, Dan Wafer. He wrestles. He's like a half autistic kid or whatever it is. And it was his birthday. Well, I'm going to rewind it a little bit more. Here I am. I just did an FTW show. I'm in the back smoking a cigarette, and I hear this kid calling out my name. I'm thinking it's just a regular wrestler. Off the script, calling out my name. Grim Reaper, I'm going to challenge you to a hardcore match. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I was like, you know what? Hit my music. Totally off script. Went out there, duffed him up a little bit, gave him some good shots, but professional shots, letting him know, listen, you're going off the script here. You're going in business for yourself. This kid wouldn't go down for nothing. At the end of the day, I slapped him with my left, knocked him right out. Boom.
Wow.
I go to the back, I find out he's autistic. Felt horrible. So, what started as a...
That doesn't sound like a career highlight.
No,
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Build up. So, boom. I was like, all right, now we're really going to start a little program here. We knew we had Piper coming in. It was the kid's birthday. Piper introduced the kid, did a big promo, good promo in Long Island, how Long Island helped him out, become a face big time. Piper was great. working with Piper, just watching how he worked in the back was an experience. But anyway, we did the Piper's Pit. The kid hit me with the birthday cake, got the pin on me, the crowd exploded. It was great. And last year I worked with Ricky Steamboat. He did a couple moves to me on a running.
Wow.
It was pretty good. But ECW, I wrestled basically 80% of the ECW roster. I wrestled about 3 generations worth of great wrestlers, from old WWE guys, WCW guys, ECW guys, and even guys from that are on top of their game right now, like El Generico. I had great matches with. Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
The list could go on and on. For me to say pinpoint greatest moments is hard for me, but there's a lot. I had a blessed career. When they say I'm underrated, I appreciate it, but at the end of the day, it's my job, if I wanted to be a wrestler for a living, to get there. They're not going to come to my door and bring me out and say, come join us in WWE, you know what I mean? I was never set on really going to WWE. I'm happy with being in the ring. They're having a great match. I won't have a bad match. You could throw any opponent.
I've never seen you have a bad match.
Any style.
I never saw Homicide have a bad match.
I'll adapt to. It's all about adapting to your opponent's style and try to mesh it together and structure a match that makes sense and tells a good story. So one day I could be a spot monkey fucking Jim over here doing flips with the best of them, and the next I'm a gimmick wrestler. So
You're fucking great.
I mean, I try to be as good as
I agree.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt them, but you're fucking great. That's why I always followed you, man.
I appreciate that, Bex.
No, I mean it.
Yeah, and not enough people realize it.
Smart guy. Don't talk much. He's smart guy.
How can he talk much with you here? Yeah.
You invited me. You know better, right? But Jim warned you.
I did a lot. I mean, I've been around for a long time. I seen the birth of Ring of Honor, which was basically a USA Pro roster, a Jersey All Pro roster. They just went around. Rob and Doug got everybody that was good from every Fed, and started Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
which was good, and it took off big.
Still going big. I could actually watch them on. I was telling you that I can watch them on digital TV. You know, I got the regular $10, the bullshit TV antenna, and I watch them on channel what's it called, Stadium TV. But they don't let you know the schedule. You got to like Thursday night at 2:00 in the morning from 2 to 4 in the morning or some shit like. Hey, listen, I used to watch ECW on Tuesday nights. I think it was at 2 in the morning. Okay, but I watched that hour religiously, even though a half hour of it was Joey Styles screaming about selling videotapes or T-shirts.
Okay. Well, listen, guys, we have to wrap this segment up in just a minute or two. Anything you guys want to plug?
Well, we want to plug September 15th at 435 Brook Avenue in Deer Park, Long Island. The NYWC Sportatorium.
The luxurious NYWC Sportatorium.
We're not plugging them. Yes. We're plugging USA Pro Wrestling's 25th anniversary done in New York. It's going to be very big. The front row has got maybe 2
wrestling is the question.
Yeah, if you call that wrestling.
I broke his arm, by the way. Once.
Wow.
You want to do it again?
Legitimately, I broke his arm.
I broke his arm too,
so
but
why
not
are you laughing?
Figuratively, but not literally. You know,
it was a frog splash. I'm on the way down, jumped from the top rope. I see him laying out like Jesus Christ with his arms spread. You know, I was like, is this guy gonna tuck his arms in? That it broke his arm. He was in a cast.
No, that don't happen. I put out pictures out every time. How many pictures of that I put out? Oh God! And he used that. Oh, did he?
I'll
use
still
that
bust his balls
with the whole cast with the thing with his arm up. Wow. Oh my God! See, he played that big. But it's gonna be a big show. Okay, it's gonna
really
be a big
show.
I hope that the Grim Reaper will show up there. Listen, if anybody's listening there, okay, because I don't want to be the one to say it to Frank, okay, because I already pushed enough wrestlers, okay. Somebody should say something to Frank. Remind him about Grim Reaper being an integral part of USA Pro Wrestling. You know. By the way, USA Pro Wrestling. I told you before, it put out a lot of wrestlers that went big time. They also took guys who needed work before they got back into WWE. You know, like guys like Eddie Guerrero.
Oh yeah.
Who was working ECW desperately, not desperately, but working ECW and working USA Pro Wrestling
I
regularly.
think they got him when I think he briefly got fired.
That's what I'm saying. So he had to
That
keep
little
working.
window that he was on there.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
And they got all kinds of guys.
I think
like
Eddie
that.
Guerrero was the finest wrestler in the world.
all around.
On my
All around,
my desk at work, I have a lot of tchotchkes, but one of my favorites is my Eddie Guerrero action figure. I keep him on my desk.
You know I've never been an action figure guy. I just
Me either. My kid, when my kid was born, we got him a Macho Man 12-inch rubber doll. Like when we were growing up, they would give us the policeman and the chef.
Yeah.
Remember those 12-inch dolls? Well, this was one of those, except it was Macho Man. And my kid walked around with Macho Man and crawled around, walked around with Macho Man. I have that doll. I saved it.
anything you want to plug? You want to plug where you're teaching and.
Well, you can go to FTW, Fight the World Wrestling, FTW.com, and see all the information how to join. And watch some of my matches on YouTube. All you got to type in is Grim Reaper Wrestler. There's a bunch of stuff. I'm working on I got hundreds of matches that I just want to get out there that they still hold its weight for today. So right now I'm focused on either making a big comeback or still staying in the wrestling business, maybe start my own stuff up, start my own company.
There you go.
But I feel like I can still go.
What is he whispering?
Make a big comeback.
I mean,
All right, let me
We'll
whisper
see.
it. Make a big comeback. That's my opinion.
we'll see.
You're still young enough.
I'm still in my 30s.
How the hell with your
but
body? Your body's going to break anyway.
My body's already broke, my friend. It's just about working.
Well, you know I love you, right?
One final question,
That's fucking great.
which means something to all of us. What did Bobby Lombardi mean to you? What does he mean to you?
Bobby Lombardi, I got close with Bobby. Like we'd hang out. We're from the same neighborhood. Basically, the same people from my neighborhood. So we got close. We hung out. We went to AC. One time we went to Atlantic City. I never seen somebody, me and him at the blackjack table.
Yeah.
This guy lost $5,000 in like 6 hands. I'm
Wow.
over here up like $400.
Wow.
Well, we had to leave right there. He lost his $5,000.
I'm usually good for about $30, then I stop.
Yeah, I'm a degenerate gambler just like Bobby was, you know what I mean? So we got along good. It shocked me at the end when he disappeared for a few years and he came back and he had one leg, he was all in bad shape.
Yeah.
And it ended up me helping him out at the end as he helped everybody else out.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we didn't leave on good terms just because, I mean, at the end, it was Bobby. Bobby was in bad shape.
Yeah.
We had a little falling out. But at the end of the day, I know we loved each other, and I owe everything to him. If he didn't have that wrestling school, who knows? And a lot of other people, like you said, they took people off the streets. Who knows what their outcome would have been in life if they didn't start wrestling?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably.
So,
That neighborhood, he was important to that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And really to some of the other outlying neighborhoods, even as far as into the Bronx, because he took kids. See, he was different. You can't compare him with Frank. Frank wasn't a school. Yeah, he ran a school after a while, but that was different. Bobby ran a school. Okay? Bobby took kids off the street and gave them something to do that was positive.
Yeah.
And for most of them, it stayed with them. Even the ones that left the school and crapped out, they still retained something. Okay? Hopefully most of them didn't go to jail or didn't. But the neighborhood was not a good neighborhood. Okay, and he was just...
He's talking about the Jamaica Ave one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And let me tell you, he was one of the good guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's my opinion. He was just one of the good guys. That's all.
He's just a little self-destructive, just like myself, a little self-destructive.
I think down the road,
Yeah.
somebody should do a documentary on Bobby. I think it's a great story.
Yeah, it is a good story.
Definitely is.
It is.
He used to have a great wife. His ex-wife now,
Yeah.
but I was
I'm
close
just
with
thinking about
all.
the people who went through the school and through just.
I was
working in that rim.
I was at his memorial. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough. Yeah. On that happy note. So we're gonna bring out. I'm assuming they're in the green room, Monty and the Pharaoh. We're gonna bring out radio host and wrestling journalist Monty and the Pharaoh, and we'll add them to the conversation if we can squeeze them in on those couches. So you guys stick around.
Sit next to you.
You guys stick around, and We'll be right back. And Jim Savali's at the helm. He's our engineer and the owner of VillageConnectionRadio.com.
Is he related to Kojak?
And let me just get some quick plugs out of the way. Check out ProWrestlingStories.com. JP Zocker, his great website if you like pro wrestling history. ProWrestlingStories.com. Our sponsors, Timothy DarkMusic.net, Dr. Scott Bernstein, DDS, Frederick Gilbert, Born Forgotten Titan of the Gilded Age. And check out 350 Days, fathomevents.com/350 days.
My
Bret
prediction,
Hart. What's
my
that?
prediction is going to be a success, a major success, just like the rest.
I hope so, because we just got reviewed in the Boston Globe, and the first thing they said was, if you love the wrestler, you'll love 350 Days.
How could you not? How could you
I mean,
not?
it's from the heart, you know. It's
There's more faces in that movie, I think, than in any other wrestling movie that's been made to date.
and they're pouring their guts. I mean, they're not holding back.
It's phenomenal. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Thank you. This Thursday, one night only, so don't put it off because it's not going to be there Friday.
And
One
if you
night
miss
only,
it,
nationwide.
Don't forget to buy the DVD if you missed it. And even if you don't miss it, buy
buy
the
DVD. That's not going to be for a long while, so come out Thursday.
Yeah, you better make that DVD soon.
Don't even put that in their mind, babe.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be right back with Monty and the Pharaoh. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Got me good in a hope that I just can't diffuse, but I know the tricks up your sleeve. 'Cause you and I used to sing just to pass by the time, and I can't let go without a partial thought to where our song may flow. Some ring away, but the echo of yours seem to stay. And lately when I listen close, what I hear may be fate. So you be real now, and I'll be honest, that what we've got here is truly harmonic. And I can search just to hear the same sound play, but why would I when you're standing here right in front of me? Truly harmonic. Oh, you've got me good. It's a concept I just can't refuse, but you had to see through what seemed without flaw. So you may say that the anthem of ours wrong away. Maybe it's true. So when this sound leaves my ear, I can't help but to sing it again. Hope that if I sing it out, maybe you'll comprehend. I've been around now, and all is silent. What we've got here is truly harmonic. When you think of me and the lyrics that we used to sing, and take them for then what they appear. 'Cause all along, I'll admit that it's all just a song, but maybe it's more than singing to me. Do we exist if the sound of our music stops playing? 'Cause maybe the next time around things won't be the same. They'll exchange. So you be real now, and I'll be honest, that what we've got here is truly harmonic. And I can search just to hear play. Well, why would I when you're standing here right in front of me? Truly harmonic.
A loaded suitcase under her bed. She knows someday she'll need to run from here. She's got nowhere to go, but everything to wear. When life has left her empty, she's learned to fill her head and leave the pain behind for someone else. She never had it easy, never seemed to care. Wave goodbye, 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 Angeline. Wave goodbye, 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 Angeline. Never had a reason, she'll never be ashamed. Never had the answers and learn the games. And everything she had was everything she gave. Wave goodbye, 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 Angeline. Wave goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
All right, we are back with the Evan Ginzburg Show at VillageConnectionRadio.com, and we are joined by Monty and the Pharaoh, Mike Monty and Jimmy Pharaoh, and they have a very big week ahead of them. Absolutely. On Wednesday right here at Village Connection Radio from 7 to 8 p.m. Greg the Hammer Valentine will be in studio signing autographs, and that's Jimmy's all-time favorite wrestler. And from 8 to 9... they'll be interviewing the Hammer right here at VillageConnectionRadio.com. So tell us a little about that evening.
I'm going to try not to break the microphone.
Yeah, let's do a good job with that.
From excitement. I just know that he's going to be with us on Wednesday evening, and we're already preparing our homework to make sure that this is the greatest interview ever done. And that's pretty much it.
And not your ordinary, not your ordinary interview either. You won't
right.
hear a recap of Mr. Valentine's.
It's not going to be a normal interview. You guys will be good this time.
What do you mean?
Hello to him.
Wow.
Yeah. There's our fearless leader chiming in.
I thought this was a wrestling show.
Thanks there, Jimbo.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we do have to have some controversy.
No, but you probably,
I'm just kidding.
You'll expect to get some really good questions.
Yeah.
And good questions for wrestling fans, too, right? Not just like, let's recap your career, because his career speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
I still want to recap it.
Yeah, well,
a great career.
But yeah, very excited. Very excited about
God.
that. Very excited about 350 Days on Thursday. It's going to be it's a big week for us.
Yep. This weekend is packed this week.
Greg Valentine is 69 years old now, and what I'm finding with some of the older wrestlers, not Greg. Greg is sharp as could be. He'll be a great interview. Right. Some of these guys, from the chair shots to the head, they have Alzheimer's. or they're slowing down considerably. Back in the day when these guys were wrestling 250, 300, 350 days a year, Valentine said he was wrestling 320 days a year at his peak. Guy like Flair was wrestling 350 days a year as the NWA World Champion.
Right.
These guys would take chair shots night after night after night, and
Right.
back then they didn't know, just how dangerous that kind of stuff was.
Sure, sure.
There's a big difference between the chair shots that were launched 30 years ago to the chair shots that we see today.
Well, now they're hitting them in the back
Yeah.
on WWE. They don't even allow
They
it.
don't even allow that anymore. Right?
I haven't seen it in quite a while.
Maybe once in a while.
Yeah.
But again, I was listening to you. You were on Stroke of Luck, one of the shows on Village Connection, which I love immensely. I watch every Sunday at 9 a.m. But you were on, and you were speaking about some of the injuries all these ex-wrestlers have gone through, and like you said, the headshots. But what's amazing to me as I'm listening to you speak this morning, and I always think about this, and I'm sure we're going to find more information on 350 Days on Thursday, but looks like these guys, no matter what they've come across, if they could go back in time, they would just do it all over again,
still do it.
without question.
It's a crazy business in that there are extremes of good and bad. Okay? Wrestlers will always say to me, we saw the world on the promoter's dime. They went to Japan. They went to Australia. They went to exotic places. Johnny Valiant told me he wrestled for oil sheiks 3 a.m. in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
I mean, these are experiences that the average person never had. And like Dusty Rhodes' shtick was legit. They wined and dined with kings and queens, and what's the rest of it?
Something involving Franks and Beans.
Franks and beans when they were starving wrestlers.
Right.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Looks like Dusty had plenty of Franks and
No,
Beans.
it looks like. Look again, in your heyday, if you were immensely popular, it's probably you went around. Everything was free. You went to a restaurant. You got your food for free. You got your drinks
Might
for
have.
free. And
Might
you
have.
probably,
Depending on who you
said,
were.
The cocaine for free.
cocaine.
Yeah, well,
we know
Beautiful,
this.
beautiful women for free.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
It's that rock and roll lifestyle.
It
right?
is, and I guess why would they want to give that up? I mean, there's nothing,
But-
adulation
but
from people, right?
The sex, drugs, and rock and roll also left a trail of deceased wrestlers who died well before their time.
Sure.
So again, there's a plus and minus to anything.
Evan, I do have a question coming off from this morning's interview. You were speaking about all the marriages that broke up and not being home for Christmas and not being at weddings or whatever, bar mitzvahs, baptisms. The list could be long, long, long.
How about births?
But
They
let me
weren't home for the baby being born.
Let me ask you this. Would you almost consider that selfishness, though, at a point where you put your career ahead of your family?
Well,
I know you got to pay the bills. I get it. But isn't
you
there a
could
point
you
of
could
selfishness?
say that you could say that about
tough call.
any businessman.
Sure.
You got some. My friend's a dentist. He works 80 hours a week. This guy's calling me from the office 1 a.m.
Right.
This guy's doing insurance forms 2 a.m.
Right.
Okay, so
Don't forget with an athlete, it's not like a dentist who can practice till he's 75 if he chooses so. An athlete has a small window.
Sure.
So if you're going to make your money, you've got to make it while your body is cooperating.
Exactly.
So there's also that to throw into
it's funny, some of
into
these-
the equation.
Some of these wrestlers, like growing up or whatever, they seem like they've been around for such a long time. But when we actually look at the windows that they actually were popular,
Right.
like you could take Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
It's a
One of
short
the ultimate-
window.
It's a very short
It's
window.
a short
he
window.
worked-
For like
worked
5
in,
years,
right?
he was insanely hot,
Well,
and then
it's
his body broke down.
interesting you say that
Yeah.
because of the insane moves today.
Mm-hmm.
Look at an old school guy like, let's say, Baron Cicluna or
Sure.
Butcher Paul Vachon.
Okay.
Or, punch, kick, work the ref,
Mm-hmm.
work the crowd. They're barely off their feet.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why these guys could go to 50, 55, 60,
Right.
and they're still a name, and they're still
Right.
worth. They're still worthy of being on a top show.
Right.
I used to see in WWE, for example, a guy like Pat Patterson would peak at 35, 40.
Right.
Peak. And by the way, I heard your show the other night.
Yeah.
Pat Patterson and Backlund went 4 shows.
I was so
It wasn't
disappointed
4
myself.
months, but it was 4 shows.
4
You
shows.
taught
Yeah.
us something there. I didn't recall the four.
And that
match
was
program.
phenomenal back in the day,
Right.
because usually 3 was when they were like a huge
How
draw.
was Patterson as a villain
Patterson
to you?
was great. Oh
To
my!
you.
Patterson was one of the rare guys who was just as great as heel or face.
He was able to emote
Guys
that
like
kind of.
Morocco were not as good as a face.
Right.
Patera was not as good
Right.
as a
Oh,
face.
ugh.
But Patterson was great either or.
Right. Interesting. Interesting.
Slaughter
Interesting.
too, until he slowed down.
Right.
Slaughter was great face.
Slaughter
lawyer,
was great both
but he
ways.
slowed
Right.
down.
You know what's funny? I was thinking, like, back in that day, if someone was smart enough in marketing to start making T-shirts back then, think about the kind of business these guys.
Billy
could have
Graham
done.
always said
Billy
that.
Graham. Oh my lord.
Billy Graham, they would have made $1 billion. The guy was
Right.
so charismatic.
And
They
just
didn't do T-shirts
Just
and
think,
stuff
like,
back then.
just make a T-shirt.
Right.
You know, I remember they just used to have maybe a picture you could buy or whatever else.
Right.
Just make one T-shirt, you could have killed it. You could
I'll
have killed
tell
it.
you how old school it was back then. You would buy like a stencil and iron it on.
Yeah.
They didn't have merchandise back
Right.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a patch. I got my Bruno patch.
I have a Dick
Oh, my
Murdoch
Lord.
T-shirt
That's
that was
hilarious.
ironed.
Right. That's
Wow.
hilarious.
Wow. That's
Dirty Dick
unbelievable.
Murdoch. He ruled.
How great was he?
He was great. I feel like he's been forgotten about.
Well, we were talking about
He was great.
the anniversary of the passing of Adrian Adonis.
Yeah.
And,
One of
you
our
know, the
faves.
North-South connection.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you talk to
Yeah.
guys like us that are in our age bracket, that's probably one of the most famous WWF
They were great.
tag team
They
They were
champions around.
tremendous.
They were.
Great.
And do you know how Murdoch died? It's an amazing story. He's sitting on his couch in his living room. He gets a nosebleed. And he's you know, this guy's a tough guy. You know, this guy, you know, old school tough guy.
Yeah.
It's bleeding. And he didn't go to the doctor. It was a stroke. The guy died on his couch.
Wow.
Just kept bleeding, and he never thought, let me rush to the hospital. What's going on?
Wow.
The guy was in his 40s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he married at the
Wow, he was
time?
in his-
How was nobody
I'm
to
not-
nobody
I'm not-
to take
He was
him?
alone
or-
in his house, and the guy
Oh,
just
boy.
died on the couch.
Wow.
Hey, you know what it is? As you get older, you don't really want to go to the doctor.
Yeah, I hate
as
to
much.
say it. That sounds like something I would
was
do.
afraid
I'm all right. Don't
Yeah,
worry
that's
about
what
it.
it-
This
When
sounds like something
I was
would do.
younger, I would go to the doctor all the time. Now as I'm older, it's like, man, I really don't want to find out
Oh,
any
yeah,
bad
me
news.
too.
Just
I'm
let it
scared of
happen.
doctors.
Yeah.
But that's not the message to put out publicly. Go get your checkups. I'm scared of doctors, man.
Go get your blood pressure checked.
So 350 days.
That's right.
What are you going through right now? Can you sleep at night? Are you
Nope.
massive
Not
anxiety?
I was outside Madison Square Garden last night giving out 1,000 flyers.
There you go.
Old
There you
school
go.
hustle.
doing the hustle. We just
That's
were
right.
talking
We were
about
just
that.
saying. I bet you that's the thing that you're doing.
So I was rewarded for my work because as I was standing
Would
up
you get
there,
chokeslammed by the Undertaker on the outside on the?
even better, an absolute stranger handed me a comp and it was a good seat.
Really?
I ended up
Get
at the show
out of
yesterday.
here.
Well, so tell me how.
Are you kidding me?
I really, I was.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody just walks
I
with
was,
it.
I was just saying.
Wow.
I was just saying to the
Holy
Pharaoh.
karma,
We
Batman.
were invited to Monday Night Raw at the Coliseum. So we
I'm
went.
sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
It's numbing.
But I will tell you, from what I
Condolences.
saw from last night, it looked like a hell of a show.
Looked like a
What was,
decent-
Okay,
what-
I'm going to give you my honest. I'm
So
always
you
honest.
you
but-
were in
Go ahead.
there.
Yeah, I
was
was
it
in
okay?
there.
Come on,
The
Evan.
best match of the night was Ziggler, Rollins, and
Okay.
Baylor. Damn good match. Really worth seeing.
Okay.
Match of the night.
Three-way match. Okay.
Three-way match. The main event, you know, the heat was unbelievable because Undertaker hadn't been there in 8 years.
And what was the tag team? Taker was teaming with who last night?
It was Taker with Strowman and Reigns.
Oh wow!
And
wow.
basically the whole match was just the hot tag. They're beating on Reigns, and he's trying to get the Taker.
Well, who were
Finally, he
who were
does.
their opponents?
It
Kevin
was,
Owens.
Kevin Owens and Elias.
Elias got something to do?
Baron
Okay.
Corbin. Why Baron Corbin's in the main event, I don't know.
ridiculous.
Wait a minute. Constable Corbin.
Okay,
Get
whatever.
it
So
right.
I heard KO was taking some major
Whatever.
bumps.
yeah. KO was like the workhorse. He was taking all the bumps.
Of course he was.
And
This is great.
It was not a great match, but it was just the heat was unbelievable.
Right.
So it was.
So the crowd
All
was
right.
into
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Same
my-
thing with the Rousey match.
Well, that's what I want. That's
how
the
did
one
that-
I want.
how
How
did
was
that
that
go down?
match?
Yeah.
How
The
was
Rousey match also, the heat was unbelievable. The fans love her.
How did Alexa
I wouldn't
do as
say
the-
it was a great match.
How was Alexa as the ref? She was the ref, right?
Actually, Mickey James was.
What happened to
and
Alexa?
Alexa was like the enforcer outside the ring. It was overbooked. There was like too much going on.
So Nia Rousey had a great
Should've had
match
Jimbo
on that
be the
last
ref.
pay per view.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this was a great match.
So-
it was a good match.
Was it? So it wasn't equal to the pay per view
No.
match then? Okay.
No. But it was good. It was enjoyable.
Ronda's work was okay.
Yeah. You know what was really good? Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy. Really good.
You saw Buddy Murphy?
Really
love.
good.
We were just talking about Buddy
Yeah,
Murphy.
yeah,
We
yeah.
love Buddy Murphy.
and
Excellent.
Cedric Alexander's always great.
Obviously,
Always
you guys
great.
incredible talent
And
in the ring. Excellent.
it's nothing else really that memorable.
Okay.
Right.
But for a
Doesn't
comp,
sound too bad.
For a comp, it wasn't bad.
The seat was good.
Evan, compared to the last house show you
It was
went to,
actually a much better show, all in all.
Sounds like it was a lot better.
There were like 5 matches, 3 stars and above.
Okay.
There was nothing 4
wow.
stars and above.
All right.
But it was a solid show. It was a
Wow.
solid show.
Hey, take it.
Obviously wasn't sold out then.
It was like 15,000.
Okay.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
For nowadays, that's not too
Yeah,
bad.
that's fine.
But
Long are the days for 18 plus, right?
here's another thing. I'd see these old school guys walking around with the Bruno shirts, and they go 188 sellouts. That's absolute BS, and I love Bruno. You know how many times I was there, it wasn't sold out with Bruno.
Really?
Bruno and
Okay.
George Steele, it was
Okay.
never sold out.
Okay.
Bruno would sell out against Billy Graham and
Do you
Ivan
think
Koloff.
do you think that there's
That's hype.
any legitimacy to it? Like maybe during the 60s
I-
when he was
I
fighting
read-
Kowalski and Monsoon at the Garden? Or-
Yeah, I read there were like 40 or 45 legitimate sellouts with Bruno.
Okay.
Not 188.
Right.
That's like Andre was never slammed. It's just
Right,
hype.
right,
It's just
right,
hype.
right. Nobody ever beat
Harley
him.
Race and these guys all slammed Andre before Hogan
Right.
did.
I would have loved to seen Harley Race do
But
it.
you know, the better point I would think is all these heels that used to come into the territory, who they wanted to be champion at the time, because right, if they main evented, they got the larger portion of the gate, right? That's the way it worked back in the day, right? So Bruno being champion, you know, you pretty much knew you were going to get a huge gate, and if you could go 2 matches or 3 matches with Bruno in a row,
Bruno
You're
would go
cleaning
3
house.
matches with guys like Patera, you know, the big names, when Arion turned on him. But most of these guys, it was 1 or 2 shots.
right?
Should he be in the Hall of Fame, Arion?
Arion was great.
Just
Why
wanted
not?
to get your thoughts on him.
If you got
because he's-
Coco Beware, why not put Arion
don't
in?
get me started with Coco Beware.
Coco Beware was legitimately good, but I'm just saying
I guess.
Arion was a bigger
Yeah,
name,
I'm
bigger
just
star.
Not a supporter of Coco Beware.
Well, you know,
He never did anything for
The
me.
way I feel about Coco Beware
Coco
is,
Beware, you should have seen him down south. In WWE, he was kind of
yeah, but
cartoonish.
you know, but he was in that whole rock and wrestling deal, and you
Yeah.
know, if you were part of that or the Attitude Era, you've
don't
got to get special consideration.
I guess.
I
See,
mean, that's the way I look at it.
I could give you a laundry list of guys who should be in. John Tolis.
Well, I agree with that, but that's you and me. I
Johnny
agree with
Valentine's not in,
that. Don't
right?
get me started, please.
Johnny
I'm gonna start-
Valentine's not in?
I'm
I
going to
don't
start
think.
with 4-letter words in a minute. Don't
Ray Stevens.
Oh,
I'm-
come
I'm-
on,
Ray
what's going on?
Stevens.
Ken Patera.
Ken Patera.
Can we come Mike, come on.
Ivan Koloff.
Ivan Koloff. Oh, who
Ivan
else do we got?
Koloff is
There's
a
plenty of others.
permanent disgrace on them. They knew he was dying.
Stan the Man Stasiak?
Ivan Koloff,
He's not in
listen
either,
to
right?
this. Ivan
I
Koloff
don't know, man.
headlined the Garden 13 times.
Right.
Backlund and Bruno and
Right.
Pedro.
Right.
And Billy Graham and Koloff together.
Well, I believe it.
In tag matches.
I believe it.
So how does Ivan Koloff not get... That's
I don't know.
petty. Petty.
I don't
You
know.
know, it's look. We don't know all the inside information, but it's weird. It's certain guys are forgiven. Like you were talking about Bret Hart, right? And the whole stroke that happened with Bret. According to the DVD or what I've read, Bret says the first phone call he got was Vince McMahon saying, "Hey, I'm with you.
Really?
Whatever you need."
That's interesting.
right? But I guess my point is, you don't know what happened between the McMahons and Koloffs
Right.
when he went to
Well,
the
there were
NWA.
legal issues, and
Right.
And at one point, Ivan jumped to the IWA, which was his dad's competition, and you know things come up. But how about forgiving a guy that
Yeah.
generated millions
It
of
needed to-
dollars for you?
Yeah.
Millions.
You know,
I mean,
and if this-
even George and Yogi made up. Yogi Berra. You gotta. It's like, come on.
we made up.
There
We
you
had
go.
we always liked each other.
You did.
I-
Me and
Oh,
him always were good.
that's
You
right.
did.
That three-way triple threat match. I remember that.
No,
yeah,
that
he
time-
pulled out a
that time
foreign
I wa-
object.
That
You
time
pulled-
I walked off your show.
Listen, that was great radio though. It was
Oh
great
my
radio.
God! Somebody say Kamala.
No, but you know what? It's when you win, and obviously the WWE has won, and they've won for a long time. It's like just forgive and forget at this point.
Yeah, you
know, if you're still
come
struggling
on.
and whatever's happening,
Like
I can
I-
see maybe still being angry.
Like I said,
but
even
you
George
won.
mellowed out. You
It's
gotta know.
over.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Bret Hart did a limited number of interviews on behalf of 350 Days. One was with CBS Radio, I believe, and he was doing an interview. I'm listening, and it's like it sounded like I was talking.
Okay.
He goes, and you guys are relate to this. He'll go. He went, how come Vince McMahon has $100 million to get his wife a political campaign? How come he has $500 million to start a football league, but he doesn't have money to help guys like Marty Jannetty, okay, who needs a foot operation? And I always would say, how come he doesn't have money to help a Kamala?
Right.
So Bret Hart said straight out on radio, how about starting a fund for these guys whose bodies were destroyed?
Yeah.
Many nights working in your rings.
Yeah.
Of course, they work for other promoters too.
I agree.
But
I
many of those
understand.
nights were in your rings.
I understand.
Have a heart.
Right.
Yeah, but
You have no argument for me, but you know that. That's how I've always
I have a
felt
little
about
bit of
that.
an argument. My point is, Vince is the last guy left, right? And really, how much interaction Vince has in the company anymore, I have no clue. I would imagine
not
not
sure.
as much as everybody thinks.
Well,
but no one
I
ever
tend
brings
to
up.
think he's still controlling everything.
From what I
That's
understand,
me.
you talk to Gary Michael Capetta. Vern Gagne was one of the great promoters of all time. Treated him
Right.
well, right?
Right.
Dr. D in his book also said Vern was
Yep.
very good with him.
Vern was tight with money from
But-
what a lot of wrestlers
And I heard Vern really screwed people over.
Yeah, and Vern lacked foresight too. But that's a
But,
whole
but
nother.
we're talking
that's a whole
about
nother
this
story.
promoter taking advantage of wrestlers. This goes on throughout life. People
But it doesn't
taking
make it
advantage
right.
of
No,
it doesn't.
I agree with that.
It doesn't.
You could say most corporations are ruthless, and then there's the select few that aren't.
Yeah, Evan, I gotta
You don't
ask-
have to be ruthless.
I got to ask you, since it seems it's pretty obvious your feelings on Vince. How do you feel about Crockett? Because to me, Crockett, I'm sure, was doing all the same atrocities that Vince was doing. And I think that if Crockett was still, surviving today with his company, he'd probably be going like this to the wrestlers. I just feel that way. So it's like, to me, it's like Vince became like the face of all the injustices because he absorbed everybody.
but he's a billionaire.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that.
know?
All I'm saying is that this evil does not just include Vince McMahon. This evil
yeah,
is,
there's been exploitative
Yeah.
wrestling promoters forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
absolutely.
Isn't there a part though? Okay,
And it's
so
not right.
If
I
I was
agree.
taking care of someone, right, I owned a business, which unfortunately I do not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if I did, and I was taking care of you, say you worked for me all these years, and you were down in your luck, and I'm helping you out, right, because you put all this time in,
Right.
and then I find out that you're taking the money and you're snorting cocaine with it. You're taking the money and you're abusing women with it. Whatever. At what point do I turn around and go, I don't want to waste my money on this type of person?
Are
who
you
just
telling me
like
that you think that from time to time Vince says to himself, half these guys turned out so fucked up. Why do I owe them a handout? Is that what you? Is that what
I
you're
guess
thinking?
that would be a
but
legitimate statement.
I could see him thinking that
the
way,
sex,
depending on the
drugs, and rock and
circumstances. I
roll
guess.
wasn't everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It was some, admittedly, some. But I think a guy like Kamala, who
Right.
said to me, Evan, I wrestled Hulk Hogan in a sold-out arena, and they gave me $800. There were
Right.
15,000
Yeah,
people
it's a
sitting there.
little ridiculous.
Maybe,
That I agree
help a guy like this, because you certainly didn't take care of him dollars and cents.
Right.
You know what? It's very very difficult. It's,
Like, for
it's
example-
hard to swallow. Like I turn around with all right. I think to myself, I'm going to make $800 a night. Just say $1,000 a night, just to make this easy math. And I'm wrestling 7 times a week because back then they used to do 2 Saturdays, 2 Sundays, right? So you do the math. At the end of the week, you're making $10,000. Because from arena to arena, it's usually the same match. If you're doing that in a 6-month spread, it's like, and Kamala wasn't a spot monkey. Kamala did his basic chop, didn't take a lot of injuries, I would assume. And look, I'm not disagreeing with
You're
you, Evan. I'm
selling
just giving,
out an arena.
Yeah.
You deserve more than
Yeah,
$800. You
he
can't
was making somebody
rationalize
very,
this.
very, very rich, and he was getting a penny for it. So I can,
I've
that's
sat
fine.
with legends at lunch and dinner, and they've quoted me numbers.
Right.
And
Look, you can call me a bleeding heart all you want, but I'm actually thinking about, did Adrian Adonis have kids?
yes.
Like, stuff like that. Like, there should be some
Well, Adrian,
coverage for the
from what I
family.
understand-
What do I know?
what
I'm
I-
really looking for help for these guys. But that's
can I turn this to Jim,
I mean,
our
whatever.
proud station owner? You
Uh-oh.
are a station owner. You are a business owner, sir.
Yes.
Do you feel...
yeah, where's our 401ks and
Well,
pensions? and
yeah, well,
benefits?
as
I'm
this
kidding.
grows, do you feel that you and someone's down in their luck that you're going to owe someone a living after it's all said and done and they're no longer working for you?
Well, let me address that by what Evan just said. He said, "Where's our 401k?"
Joking, I'm
You guys
joking.
choose to work here for years without a 401k. Why would you get it after? I mean, why would you?
Right.
If you did it, if you were working here without it, you really can't cry that you don't have it when it's over.
Well, let me say the other side of it. Why would
And I don't
the
mean to offend
office
anyone.
why would the office staff warrant it and the wrestlers who are
Right, but all I'm
destroying their
saying-
bodies
all
not
I'm
warrant
that
it?
is
saying
very
all
true.
I'm saying is, if you decide to accept it, you can't cry about it after.
Right.
That's all. The office staff could accept it or not, and if they chose to accept it, then they could cry about it. You know what I'm saying? But if you work for someone and they don't have benefits, then you chose to work for them.
And again, I have
That's just my opinion.
Evan Ginzburg has been nothing but great to Monty and Farrow for sure, and I love Evan.
Thank you.
Okay, but here's
I love you too.
Even
here's
after that feud? Wow, you guys really are okay.
Here's an example.
I hate everybody.
Here's an
Let's
example.
start another
It's
feud.
a romance.
I'm gonna quote the great Evan Ginzburg from just this morning.
He calls me a latherer.
If you
Listen to
don't
this.
like your job, quit your job.
What?
If you don't like
said
your
that?
relationship, leave your relationship.
Wow.
And again,
Evan
you'll
don't take
return
nothing.
and say,
No
a
shit.
young kid, he wants to make it, he's going to do what you said. But here's the thing. You have choices. You quit or you stay. You know what's weird? I don't see the group of WWE stars that are working right now running to build a union. They're still working under the...
Maybe they're scared to try.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe they are.
That I do agree with.
Okay, I have a lot of respect for a guy like Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, who have made it on their own
Yep.
and made it work
Yep.
and learned how to merchandise themselves.
Especially
and
the
I
Young
think
Bucks.
that's where
Yep.
it's heading.
Yeah. Young
Yeah.
Bucks can definitely merchandise
Young Bucks,
themselves.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
These
They're
guys
so-
are making a good living.
By the
having
way,
great matches.
For whatever it's worth, and I just heard this last night, you know who's selling the most merch for WWE at the current moment?
Who's that?
Roman Reigns?
Finn Balor.
Really?
Yeah. Not, It's not even close.
That's surprising.
From what they were saying. They were saying he's selling
I think
them
the guy's
a ton.
great.
But here's a perfect example. You say Cody and the Young Bucks are going on their own. So guess what they're doing? They're getting their own 401k. And guess what these wrestlers do now? They go and get their own 401k. Right. They get their
Well, they're gonna
own
have to.
medical
They're gonna do something
insurance.
to protect
But if
themselves.
And look, here's the reality, Evan, to be truthful, right? I work for a $40 million company. How much? What kind of percentage? And guess what? What kind of percentage do you think I pay for my medical insurance? About 80%, 70%. You know, again,
But it doesn't make it right.
It's not
doesn't
right.
make it right,
Yeah.
but this is the world. And like you said, if I don't like it, quit. Guess what? Got to pay the mortgage.
And what if they gave you better benefits, a better package, and they made $35 million instead of $40 million or whatever?
Right. One less yacht for them. Boo-hoo.
So
I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you something else.
Boo-hoo.
Before I get my blood pressure skyrockets.
please don't.
Yeah. Turn it to the Pharaoh. Go, Evan.
Back when I was listen to this, Jim. Back when I was a kid, percentage-wise, the boss made about 8 times what the worker made. Now the boss makes like 1,500 times what the worker
hell,
makes.
man?
The
It's a
greed
joke.
kicked in along the lines.
Please.
And I'm talking in a 50-year stretch.
Yeah.
I'm not talking over 500 years.
It's out of control.
The greed kicked in.
Yeah.
You got a guy whose company tanks and he's getting a $17 million golden parachute,
Yep.
and the poor worker's getting laid off.
Yep.
It's true.
So the greed kicked in. It doesn't
Yeah.
make it right. Just because it's business as usual.
Yeah.
Hey, look. To turn it to wrestling, right? John Cena sells tons of merchandise. I don't know. Rusev, I'm just throwing a name out there, doesn't do nearly as well.
Right.
This is life. Some people do better. Some people do worse. I'm not a millionaire. I wish I was a millionaire. Do I honestly feel if I was a millionaire, would I share all my money? I'm not so sure. I'll throw that at you, Savelli. Would you share your money?
I will.
You lying pack of shit.
liar.
Lies!
That's hilarious.
You're lying.
Sometimes life doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like James Ellsworth gets a break. He gets a break and he's on SmackDown. Let me tell you something. James Ellsworth can't touch Grim Reaper. Can't touch him. Reaper's so good in the ring. He didn't get that break.
It's funny.
It's just the way
I
the world
generally
works sometimes.
don't like the comedy shtick, but for his role, he's actually good at what he does.
I agree.
Sure,
I agree.
Sure, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he got a break though, and he's not nearly as talented.
But he took
as some of
the
guys out
break
there.
and he rolled with it.
Absolutely.
They're not telling him to put on 5-star matches.
All
They're
I'm
telling him to do
All I'm
comedy, and it
saying is
works.
his life makes no sense sometimes, and that to me, there's a lot of talented guys out there in the
Oh, yeah.
independents.
Well, after
Ellsworth was brought in for comedy.
But there's also a lot of talented guys with no charisma. They have every
That's true
move
too.
in the book.
That's true too.
you got to have it all, man.
Right.
I think I said it before. The Andre the Giant documentary. My wife is by far not a wrestling fan. We're watching the documentary, and they're showing clips of older wrestlers. Adonis was there, but here comes Superstar Graham. First thing my wife says to me is, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instantaneously.
That's right.
It's either you got it or you don't have
I'm
it.
going to
and-
tell you something about that, and this isn't hype. Our editor of 350 Days is not a wrestling guy. He didn't know these guys. He worked with Paul McCartney, Mariah Carey, HBO. He was not a wrestling guy, and that's one of the reasons we chose him, because we wanted to make the best possible movie, not a shoot interview.
Right.
So when the smoke cleared, who are the guys that are featured in the movie? Billy Graham and Bret Hart.
That's
Because
right.
the charisma's off the
Right.
charts.
And it
off
only,
the charts.
and it
Weren't
only
stars by
makes
accident.
sense. It only makes sense. You're going to put out in front what is best for business. I hate to use that line.
That's
all
the
time, but
truth,
that's
though.
what it
We-
is.
we have in the
guys
movie-
guys who were stars are not stars by accident.
We
That's
have
why
in the
they rose to the
movie
top.
some guys who are not stars who made the final cut, and some stars who didn't, just because it was more interesting
more
what they
interesting.
said.
Right.
Maybe they're more charismatic, whatever.
Right.
Superstar Graham to this day is still a lightning rod.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, on social media, he's a lightning
great.
rod, right? Bret Hart is always. Real quick
Hart.
question for you. Rewind.
Yeah.
Survivor Series. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart.
It's art.
Montreal
Was that a work?
Stop.
I still to this day feel
Stop
it was a
already.
work.
You're still doing this 20 years later. Will you stop?
I don't think so.
Oh my
I
God.
feel like Vince
Cut it
and
out.
Bret somewhere are taking this to the grave with
I
them.
don't think
Nope.
so.
Really?
I don't
Okay,
think
then you're going to stroke out and we'll never see you again, and then we'll make up 10 years like, no!
I don't think
Would
so.
you stop?
All right.
Anyway,
love how you never
we
let
got to
go,
wrap
though.
this up because I
great.
think we have mentalist Robin Channing
He
here.
didn't bust in the door.
What was that?
He didn't bust in
He's
the
right.
door.
He's right behind you, Jay.
Yeah.
Got him.
Disappeared.
So once again, this Wednesday,
Yes.
the
Yes.
11th,
Yes.
Yes.
we have Greg Valentine, 7 to 8 p.m. Tell us what the deal is with pictures and
Go ahead, Mike. Lay it on us.
Greg Valentine will be in studio, Rockstar Studios, 7 to 8 p.m. Signing
Lake
auto-
Place,
11 Lake
Huntington.
Place, Huntington. Thank you. Signing autographs.
7 to
Greg
8.
Valentine, former Intercontinental Champion, former WWE Champion, Tag Team Champion, U.S.
And
Champion.
former champion. They took the belt away from him.
All right, whatever.
Robbed him.
Valentine, certainly one of the all-time greats. And then from 8 till 9, he will be on the number one pro wrestling broadcast in the United States of America, Monty and the Pharaoh.
That's right.
And this will not be an ordinary
Bigger than
interview.
Howard Stern.
We're close. We're coming around.
It won't be,
Come
you mean
there.
it'll be Abby Normal? It won't be
It will
ordinary?
be, it will be Abby Normal.
Be Abby someone.
And you know what? And then 350 days on Thursday, which we're excited for. And real quick before we cut it off, Evan, when 350 days explodes and you make all that money, will you be sharing it?
I'm the,
What you talking
I'm the
about?
associate producer. I'm not going to make any huge money, believe me.
Jeez.
It's a documentary.
Unbelievable.
We're very excited,
Thank
and Greg Valentine's going to be huge, and 350 days is going to be huge. It's going to be a great wrestling week for us.
Amen, brother.
And that's fathomevents.com/350 days. And please come out and support it and spread the word on social media. And
We will be in Stony Brook with Dennis from Cool Cats and Comedians,
Yep.
and Sean
what's
from
the name of
Running
the
Radio.
theater?
don't know,
Lowe's
you're the man.
in, I don't know, off the top
Stony
of my
Brook?
head. Stony Brook. Lowe's in Stony Brook.
Okay.
Lowe's 21.
So come out
whatever.
and meet Monty and the Pharaoh
Yeah.
and Dennis.
We'll be taking and Dennis.
Dennis.
Unfortunately, no Teresa.
We'll be the guys inside.
No Teresa.
We'll be the guys inside the movie theater with shades on.
I was almost tempted to go.
We wanted you
What
to
is
go.
going on
Not
here?
if only
Oh, they're
Dennis
killing
is
Dennis
going.
again.
What?
Here we
Only if
go.
Dennis is going?
Here we go.
I don't blame you, man.
boy.
I don't blame you. But again, things
that,
are
Dennis.
moving and shaking, and after 350 days sells out through the entire country, hopefully
From
they'll
your
be
mouth
on
to
the-
God's ears.
It's going to happen, man. It's going to be huge. Huge documentary.
Yep.
We're really excited for
Yep.
it. And Evan, we thank you for this opportunity to be
got it.
part of
Thanks,
it. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
when we come back, we're going to have some more wrestling and mentalist Robin Channing, who has mutant powers. He was tossed out of the X-Men. He was too...
He was in the X-Men.
Yeah, he was tossed out because
All right. I understand.
he couldn't harness the mutant powers.
You know what I've been trying to find is that mirrored tie he wears often. I
Yeah.
love that thing.
That's right.
Mirror Man.
He's a wrestling guy also.
He is.
All right, we'll be right back, folks.
Thanks, Evan.
All right now.
Sure. Let me see if he's here.
350 days a year as a wrestler on the road. Maybe it's a sickness.
350 days a year.
A lot of physical pain, a lot of loneliness.
You have no home life whatsoever.
Piper and me riding around the road, doing 8 balls of cocaine. I'm sure it broke up marriages.
How many guys in the wrestling business have a family left when they're done? Most of them lose it.
I couldn't have children. I couldn't put them on a turnbuckle while mommy worked.
I look forward to it, bro. You know why? Because I love it so much. It's in my heart.
When you're famous,
You don't have to go look for trouble. Trouble comes knocking on your door.
I hit the bars, and that was my character. Sitting in a room with a bunch of wrestlers doing cocaine, we really got to know each other.
I would take a lot of downers, and I did have problems with the downers.
I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I was not a faithful husband from the first day, for the whole time, on the road. I lived a double life.
I needed it. It was like, I'm not getting the love I needed home.
Would I do? Oh my God, I am afraid to say I would do it again.
I wouldn't change a thing.
No regrets. I loved everything I did. I actually wish I could do it all over again.
Well, I want to tell you, you know, to make some big money in wrestling, you had to wrestle every night of the week, $30 every day. So you had to wrestle 6 and 7 times every week just to earn your money.
350 days on the road with wrestlers, a living hell.
With the Evan Ginzburg Show at villageconnectionradio.com. Jim Savali at the helm. And we have mentalist Robin Channing. And he's going to do a magic trick. He's going to shut the door behind him so we don't have background noise. Oh, man. Come on.
All right. Are we good?
Oh,
We're good.
Amazing how you shut that door. It's incredible.
Just let me know.
All right. Robin Channing. I'm going to step out of the way here.
Okay, step out of the way. All right, let me just step right in to see if we are good. Okay, all right, let's see. Okay, I'm back in the Evan Ginzburg. A little static. Okay, I guess we'll have to work it. Okay, just don't overmodulate. Okay, good. We just had to do a little audio check. All right, Robin Channing here. I'm back on the Evan Ginzburg Show, and I just want to give a quick shout out to 350 Days. That is an excellent movie. I can't recommend that enough. I just wanted to give a shout out on that. All right, so you know what? I'm just, like usual, I just kind of like to play things by ear here, so I just want to see where this goes. All right, now I'm just warming up the cards. It's not the hands that need warming up, it's the cards themselves. And, you know, I'm kind of sorry because, you know, advertising cards, brand new deck that, you know, normal people throw away. This is going to become a bit more interesting, yeah. All right. Now, as far as the rest of the deck is concerned, I'll just do something a bit more extreme, where I go like this, I go like this, I go like this, I go like this, and then 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 this. Now you know not to play cards with a guy like me. Can we agree on that? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, so we're ready to begin. See, we didn't actually start anything yet. All right, let's see. I'm just going to go here. We got a really good Austin 316 shirt, dude, there. Okay, if you were to name a playing card, any card you wanted, what would it be?
Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades. There's an echo in here or something? Really? Okay. Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades. You know, it's funny because as a mentalist, it's my job to sort of make you see things that I want you to see or make you see things that I don't want you to see. In this case, I kind of want you to see the Ace of Spades. Do you see the Ace of Spades there? Okay. Yeah, okay. That's good. That's good. All right. Now, let's see. We'll go around. We got that's a Demolition t-shirt you got there?
Pull that one out. Give me Suicide King.
Suicide King. I hate when people do that because I'm like, I never keep track of the nicknames, all right? Suicide King, is that which one? King of Hearts or King of Spades?
King with the sword through its head.
King with the sword through its head, okay.
That'd be the king that's killing himself.
Okay, all right. Like I said, I never keep track of those nicknames. I know King of Hearts, King of Clubs, King of Spades, King of Diamonds. So one of those, please. Okay. It might be the King of Diamonds, okay? So you know what? We'll check out to see if it's the King of Diamonds. I don't think it's the Suicide King, but you know what? We'll just do it by random here. Say stop anytime you want. While the cards are still in the air. Okay. Now, we landed at the 9 of diamonds. At least we landed on a diamond. But you know what's even better is the fact that we landed at the King of diamonds underneath it. Very nice. Now, that's not a Suicide King, although he's got an axe next to his head, okay? All right, so let's see. We'll go around. We just met Kenneth, right? Kenny?
Call me Ken.
Ken. Okay.
You can keep the crap out of this guy in the parking
Oh
lot.
yeah, right. Oh yeah. It's on me now. All right.
If you don't get your fucking name right, I'm gonna show him a trick or two.
Okay.
Ken's a good name.
It has nothing to do with cards.
Okay.
Either. Nothing up
All
my
right.
sleeve.
Okay. Name card.
2 of clubs.
2 of clubs. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. As a matter of fact, I like the king of diamonds. I like the 2 of clubs. So you know, here we'll just do things on the table here. Well, sort of on the table. As a matter of fact, you see these 2 jokers over here. I'm going to use them as if they were 2 chopsticks, and I can extract a card like that. And you said the 2 of clubs, right? And it looks like this, doesn't it?
Wow.
I know, right? Now let's see. All right.
Yeah, right.
All right. You with the provocative T-shirt. I'm sorry. What's your name again?
What's provocative about it? What do you think is provocative about it? It's very direct and very politically correct.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Discriminate against no one.
No discrimination going on
Let's
here.
try the 7 of clubs.
7 of clubs. Okay. I was doing a warm up with you. You just said 7 of diamonds when we were warming up.
Now
Now
you try different suits.
you want to try a different suit. Okay.
try a different suit.
See if that can happen. Okay.
I want you to try a different suit.
Okay.
too.
Well, I like this
Change
suit.
your
I mean,
tie.
I like the tie. I mean,
You did change your tie.
yes, I did.
It's
Well,
usually like mirrored.
Yeah. Well, I'm going for the carbon diamond from
Okay.
BigSky.com.
There you
Oh,
go.
I'm sorry. You said the 7 of clubs, right?
I said
It looks like this,
clubs.
doesn't it?
Ah.
All right. Well, you know what? That's what I do with cards. But you know, I'm also billed as a mentalist, so therefore, everything that I do is not limited to just card work. Having said that, I like to sort of flex my muscles and see where we can go in different directions. Let's see. Let's go in the round. You see, not only do I deal in illusions of the mind, I also deal at times in fiction. And I admit I did get the failing grades back in my grade school days when it came to story writing. So, you know, I didn't exactly do well in that department. So, you know, as kind of an obsessive compulsive perfectionist as I am, I try to kind of compensate for whatever faults that I'm lacking in during the course of my life. Having said that, I'm trying to do something that incorporates illusions of the mind with the world of fiction. So, it's one genre of fiction that I'm particularly fond of is espionage stories, you know, spy stories. You know, like we have the Mission Impossible movies. I'm a big cinema buff, by the way. We got the Mission Impossible movies, one crazy Tom Cruise stuff after another, and we've got the James Bond movies. Me personally, I kind of like the Pierce Brosnan ones, and even in Japanese animation, you know, anime. There's an anime called Joker Game. Look that up. That is an excellent espionage piece. So I wanted to. So with all of us here, we're going to create a spy story. Is that agreeable? Okay. All right. So I need to get somebody to act as our spy over here. I could nominate. How about we'll go in the round here? Let's see. In the Austin 316 shirt. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Pharaoh.
Okay.
Pharaoh.
All right.
Like the Egyptian kings, not Pharaoh, like the cat that lives
All
outside.
right. Now I got your name. I got your name. I just realized that's a mistake. I'm not supposed to get your name because you act as a liaison. The gentleman in the demolition T-shirt. Don't tell me your name. Don't tell me.
Okay.
All right. But I'm going to ask you to be my spy for this demonstration. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. You got the shades going on. You got the hat. Sort of reminds me a little of Bray Wyatt kind of going over there.
Stick right there.
Yeah,
right
right?
there. See, right there.
Oh, there, right there. Right there. For Monty and the Bunch.
Don't you remember? You got all those free autographs in one of our events.
No, they weren't all free. Okay. All right.
He's not the guy who ran out with them. That was somebody else.
Okay.
That's
Now
funny.
let me ask you. What's today's secret password?
Ken.
No, don't guess.
I don't know. What?
Oh, wait. What did you just say?
I don't know.
I cannot. I swear to you, I can't even pretend to know how this works. I can't. I swear to you, it's just one of those things. Today's secret password.
There you go.
I don't even pretend to know how this works. Okay, I can't. I swear to you. All right, so good. You're gonna work.
All right, great.
All right, you're gonna work. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry. What's your name again?
Pharaoh.
Good. Nothing's changed.
You're
Hey, you have to verify.
happy, right?
By the way, Pharaoh,
Yeah.
how's your memory?
Terrible.
All right, Cliff Notes version for you it is.
Lots of drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be taking notes as we go along, all right?
Okay.
Okay, who among you has a wristwatch? Evan, you do.
Yeah.
Could you take that off? It's one of those wristwatches where you pull the pin and you can change the time. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay, now we did not prearrange anything, right, Evan?
No.
Okay, could you do me a favor? Pull the pin out And what time does it say right now? What time does it say right now?
Wait, the last time I heard pull the pin out, I had to hit the dash.
Oh yeah.
12:43.
12:43. Okay, pull the pin and then turn the knob. Turn it. Okay, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. All right, I want to get a sense of where you are. Stop. What time does it say now?
2:32.
Okay, so 11:32. Okay, I get a sense of how you work. All right, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. Now I can't see his watch, right? I don't know what's going on over there. Okay, keep turning, keep turning. Okay, Evan, stop. All right, the time you got now, it wouldn't be 5:13, would it?
No.
Of course it wouldn't be. All right, good. At least I know how. Okay. All right.
I'm being honest with you.
What time do you have? What time do you have?
5:37. You were close.
Okay. The time. Okay, and it's 5:37. So far, so good. Okay. Now, among you two, which one of you guys do you think has the strongest imagination?
I got a pretty good imagination.
We'll work with you then. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. So here. Well, let's use your imagination. You like comic books and comic book based movies, kind of, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, we're gonna work with Wonder Woman right now because she's got this. On the one hand, we're guys.
We know why. We know why you want to work with Wonder Woman.
No, the real reason why is because she's got this invisible jet going. I need you to imagine that you've just hijacked her invisible jet without her knowing, without Superman knowing, and without the Flash knowing. You're taking that invisible jet around on a joyride around the world. All right, you're flying all around the world. It's got the fuel for it. And if you were to just kind of take a moment to pause right now in midair, and you see the countries beneath you, what country do you see beneath you at the moment?
He's actually looking.
He's actually looking. See, that's how good his imagination is, right?
Amazing how I can stop.
Yeah, right. That's amazing how you can stop too. Yeah.
I see Switzerland.
Switzerland. All right. I like where you're going with this. Okay. So keep flying. Okay. And he's looking down at the same time. Good. He has no heights issues. That's good. And he's steering. Steering. Okay. All right. Okay. Now stop. If you were to stop right here, what country do you see at this point?
Mesopotamia. No. I'm in the past. I went on a time machine.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm looking at New Zealand.
New Zealand. All right. Okay, let's do this
I made a hard right.
Okay, now let's do this one more time. Okay, one more time. And stop. Don't say anything. All right. The country you're above. It wouldn't be Germany, would it?
No.
Of course not. Okay, now this is it. Now what country do you actually see right now?
I actually see Antarctica. I don't know what that's a country, but that's the bottom, I made a right in New Zealand.
Okay, Antarctica. Okay. Hold on.
He flies like JFK Jr.
All right, yeah, right.
I made a hard right, I told you.
All right. Well, okay. You have a very strong imagination. All right, so we are so going to work with that, okay? We are so...
You get me out of here, it's freaking cold.
Okay, now...
He's stuck in Antarctica.
Okay, that was our country...
And all
it's actually a continent, but we'll work with that. It's actually a continent. Okay, but you know what? Okay, who's got some pocket change on them? Who's got change in the pockets? It's nowadays...
My mother always said I had no sense.
Oh! Badum-cha.
Who's got some change? Anybody?
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's like... It's not that common anymore. I mean, people have...
Really not.
Yeah, I mean, the money is either paper, plastic...
You mean paper money, you meant coin.
Yeah. Well, you know... Well, worst case scenario, we'll work with the paper money that you got. Okay, here we go. Oh! You were supposed to count it, dude!
Yeah, I did.
That was my one phone call!
That's my trick for the day.
All right.
What the hell?
We got this.
There's 45 cents there.
All right, here we go. That's a quarter. If it's 45, let's see where the others went.
Whatever.
There's a dime over there.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so here, what did we pull here? That's $1.60. Is that right? $1.60? All right, I am not impressed. All right.
Yes, for change.
Okay.
I guess for change.
Money.
And that's what I heard.
It'll be
You got this on film, pal.
60.
Sorry, man.
Okay, Pharaoh.
Yes, sir.
Here are your cliff notes. coming.
Mike Clifford. Great. I can't read. He's going to hand me something.
Okay.
That's great.
And it's even worse is that you have my handwriting.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about that.
Yeah.
Watch out for my foot, Monty.
Okay, all right.
Hey.
What's even worse is that you have to deal with my handwriting. I'm sorry about that. Okay? So,
what is this? Hieroglyphics?
yeah, I know, right?
Well, I am
That's what happens when you hang around one too many doctors. Don't ask any questions about that. Okay?
Should be able
Now,
to read easily.
actually, yes, in the KISS, I'm sorry, KISS. Yeah, I'm thinking KISS. It's actually a demolition t-shirt. Could you come over, please? All right?
Watch out for the coffee.
All right. Now, I have not gotten your name. That's the important part. Stand over here. Stand over here. Okay. Make sure we're all on camera. Okay. Let's see how this is going to play. All right. Now, the important part is that we haven't established a name because you're supposed to be a spy. Sure. You're not supposed to blow your cover. Is that fair enough? Now,
I don't want to blow your cover.
All right. Well, it's your cover actually. Now, if you were to name a geometric shape, a simple geometric shape, what would it be?
Circle.
Circle. You know what? Let me just take notes on that. Okay. So, there's my post-it.
I think people are shocked that I even knew what a geometric shape
I am
was.
shocked.
Okay. All right.
Pretty
That's
impressive.
pretty good. All right. So let's see here. Okay. All right. So circle. All right. So we're going to take this and do this and name another one. Another simple geometric shape.
Square.
Square. Very good. Okay.
You're on a roll.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on a roll. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Next one, triangle.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. The next one, what was it?
Triangle.
Okay, we'll do that.
After that, we don't know.
What else is there?
Equilateral or isosceles?
Oh, that's a. Now you get
Okay.
complex.
All right. Yeah. One more.
I think you're acute.
Octagon.
Octagon. Okay.
Whoa! That's where they pay you the big bucks.
Okay. Very good.
Lesnar's proud of you. Octagon.
All right.
He's proud of you. Hey.
Okay, grab one of those papers, whichever one that's the one we're going to run
You're
with.
supposed to close your eyes?
All right, so here, just
grab those
doesn't matter, just grab one, doesn't
We'll
matter.
grab the
Okay,
rolling
okay,
one.
that's good. All right, I'll take the rest. Oh, and by the way, inside here, I have zippered compartment of this envelope, and of this wallet, I should say, envelope, I'm jumping the gun here, because inside this zippered compartment of this wallet is an envelope with a folded up piece of paper over here, okay? All right. Okay, so, all right. Open up the piece of paper. No. The full, that one. The one with that massive amount of writing.
All right.
All right. Fold it up, unfold it even further. Okay. All right. Read out loud the first sentence.
Here are your instructions. One more. For this mission, should you choose to accept it.
Okay. See that we've established that. Cue Mission Impossible theme. Now, what's the next sentence?
Your new code name is Triangle.
Whoa. You had a choice of 4 here. Open that one. What do you have in your...
Triangle.
Dude! Nice!
Very nice.
Yeah. That's your code name, all right? That's all I'm going to know you by right
Nice.
now. Okay, what does that rest say?
Tomorrow you will leave at exactly 5:37 and fly from here.
Whoa, 5:37. That's your time, Evan.
5:37.
This will blow your mind. From here to
Antarctica.
Very good.
It actually says Antarctica. It says Antarctica. We never met until we didn't prearrange any of this, right?
Crazy.
Okay. And
Your
then
expense money for the trip will
You can't
be.
be serious.
Do you remember how much money I had?
No, I just gave him all the
What's on that?
And I better get it back.
yeah, 6 quarters and a dime.
Good.
$1.60.
Robin channeling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for engaging in this little spy story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
What do you got there?
Let's see. I have the time, 5:37. I got the country, Antarctica, and I got the money, $1.60.
Wow.
This is insane.
That is
Insane.
Thank you.
It's insane.
I know, right?
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your rolling paper after that.
Okay.
Oh my lord.
All right. Woo. All right. Thank you,
brother.
Evan.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That was incredible.
They fooled me.
Now, can you bring Jim Morrison back? Thank you.
I'm still working on Buddy Rogers.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Like I said, he was tossed out of the X-Men because he misused his mutant powers. Robin Channing, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm not any worse than Deadpool.
There you go. So, folks, now that I don't know what time it is because you had me change my watch, what time we got?
There's always that.
Huh?
It's time.
It's time to wrap things up. Anybody want some last second plugs? Monty and the Pharaoh. Greg Valentine's here Wednesday. Real quick.
We got Greg Valentine in the studio, 11 Lake Place in Huntington from 7 to 8, signing autographs, taking pictures, and then Greg comes into our studio with Jimbo from special Wednesday evening Monty and the Pharaoh, 8:05 to 9 p.m. with Greg the Hammer Valentine.
There you go. Grim Reaper. Plugs.
You can catch me on MySpace.
There you go. Old school. Old school.
I'm always in hiding. I'm not plugging nothing.
All right.
Yeah, don't miss him. He's a great wrestler.
Mr. Big. September 15.
Never mind that. We heard about that.
Yeah.
Already.
What else you want to plug?
I want to plug my page on Facebook.
Go ahead, hit it.
Legitimate likes. I told you. I have
You
legitimate
buying your
likes.
likes? I heard
No, I don't buy them.
You buy your likes? Oh, my
I don't buy likes.
Somebody told me, said you were-
Yeah, I know. Let him say that.
Oh,
You know better.
man.
You know better. I know you busted my balls.
So tell us where to find you.
You can find me.
That's
on
great.
my personal page. But if you want to find me, it's Mr. Big Pro Wrestling. M, capital M, small R, period. Capital B, small G, small I, small G. That's Mr. Big, right?
There you go.
Then a dash, then Pro Wrestling. That's how you find it on Facebook. Mr. Big Pro Wrestling. Scroll down, there's a lot of good stuff on there. I'm not as repetitive as you are.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't have as much to plug as you do.
There you go.
I don't have as much invested as you do. In 350 days, you have a lot invested. And rightfully so.
5 years of our lives.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Me, I've only had a number of years invested in me in my career.
Right.
But I would like some more legitimate likes. There's enough on there to entertain old ladies, young ladies, old men, young men, people in between, children, everybody. There's something for everybody on
The
there.
magician, can you make his lips stop moving already?
You're managing him this weekend, I
Channing,
assume,
what do you
right?
wanna plug?
Oh, my God.
Okay, what am I going to plug? Just my website, robinchanning.com, and also I do appear periodically at LOL Comedy Club in Times Square, New York, where you can see me perform in a public venue. That aside, I'm available for any and all private and social functions. Okay, so hit me up, robinchanning.com. And I'm on Facebook and the other major social networking platforms.
What about MySpace?
Mine is collecting dust.
They're still.
Oh, they're still out there.
It says, when you go to MySpace, you can't really do anything on there, but you can kind of know that they're rebooting or they're doing something. It says we're under construction, under reconstruction.
Still waiting.
It's like the BT.
Yeah, they're building the going out of business sign. That's what they're working on.
They had an app.
Jim Savali, what's new at Village Connection?
What's new at Village Connection?
Everything.
Oh, we might be moving.
Really? You didn't tell me that.
To a bigger,
By the way,
a bigger, more conveniently located studio.
Yep.
I hope it's near a railroad.
It is.
Okay.
Will it be air conditioned?
It will be totally air conditioned.
Where you can actually have the air conditioning
On at the same time as
Amazing,
the shows.
You son of a
What a
bitch.
concept.
I told you I'd come through.
You're just coming right into the 21st century.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Charging.
Imagine
Right into
air conditioning in 2018.
Plowing his way through the Industrial Revolution.
That's right.
Plowing his way through the modern era. God, he came into the new baseball and everything else. No more dead ball era.
This guy could talk. Grim Reaper has like a pounding in his head, right?
That's right. He knows what to do for that. Grim Reaper.
And coming up, 1 o'clock or a little after, Under the Radar, Randy Unger, pop culture and more. So that'll about do it, folks. Join us each and every week. Sundays, 11 a.m., villageconnectionradio.com, The Evan Ginzburg Show. Always an eclectic mix, mentalist, wrestlers, and everything in between. There you go. That's right. He's eclectic.
Martin Spain. You've got to say Martin Spain. It ain't just Spain.
That's right. That's right. Joe Franklin, R.I.P., my mentor. That'll about do it, folks.
The wrestling fan, they loved you or they hated you. If the fan loved you, they couldn't do enough for you. They want to buy your meal, they want to buy your drink. I think it was one of the main reasons that, whenever I stepped into the ring, I wanted to give back. I wanted to satisfy their reason for coming out and watching me wrestle.
I tell you what, I treated fans with respect and they loved me back. Whether I was a heel or a babyface, it didn't matter.
I learned right from the get-go with my parents that it was to appreciate every single fan that you got, everyone. You know, I think that's one of the reasons I've had longevity in wrestling, is that I always treated my fans with a lot of respect.
They wanted to kill me trying to get to my car, and they always knew I was in a Cadillac or something, and it was, you know, you were in fear for your life sometimes.
The New Jersey crowds were always great in the Boston Garden. It was dangerous at the Boston Garden.
The fans were believers in that era. They believed the doggone thing was real. And they were some of the fans were very violent.
I look back on it and I'm saying, well, you put up a lot of you know what. But you know something? That's what drove me to do it. Because the more those people hated me, more this I made.
I was being punched and kicked, and I was having beer thrown on me. I was being hit by chairs.
How angry do you want to make your wrestling fans? How much do you want to butcher up your baby faces until they're all bleeding and they're being beaten by 8 or 10 guys? I mean, how far can you push an audience before they lose it, and then you have the Alamo kind of thing?
Play with people's heads, you know. You got to play with their minds. You got to play with them. Psychology. Because that's how you manipulate people. And that's what I do. That's what I did for a living. I manipulated you when you were a kid. I know I did. Because you probably didn't like me. Or you might have liked me because I was that way. And a lot of people did. A lot of people didn't. Thank you for the living I made at it, people. You were very good to me.